But today we're going to deal with basically the flow of sound. Okay, where does the sound start, where does it end up, and then if we have a little bit of time, how to adjust your gain, although that might be a different video. Okay. Actually, can you turn the lights on? The stage, turn the stage light on. We'll get back to it. Okay, so assuming for a moment that we have a microphone up here, but we do have some instruments. So the sound originates at whatever piece of equipment you have, whether it's a vocal mic, whether it's an acoustic guitar, electric guitar, or whatever the instrument is, some band instrument and some vocal mic. Okay, well that's the origin of the sound. Okay, that sound then goes through a microphone or a cable. So like any instrument, we have cables hooked up to it, and it patches through the cable. Then it goes to usually a stage pocket. So this particular stage has 3 main pockets up on stage and the 2 smaller pockets down on the floor. Okay, different stages have different amounts of pockets. Some stages don't even have pockets. Some stages has a dozen different pockets. Okay, so wherever you're doing sound, you just need to know the lay of the land. Okay, so in this particular one, and not all pockets look the same, but they all have basic same components. Okay, they shouldn't have a cable line in it, that's for sure. Okay, they might have some electricals. Okay, so like this one has some power down here. Okay, and then they have input and outputs. Okay, this one has a bunch of, these are called, well, I'll show you this cable, Xlr cables. These cables are called Xlr cables. So a microphone will plug in to one side of the cable, actually to this side of the cable, and then this side of the cable, the male side of the cable, usually plugs into the Xlr port. Okay, so that can go in, or you could design it to come back out that way too. You could go either way, it's just a cable line. Okay, some pockets, or a lot of pockets, will have built-in monitor ports. Okay, that's to run these stage wedges. Okay, these speakers. Okay, and why that's separated is those usually runs through an amp. Okay, so those are powered by an amp, where the XLRs are not. Okay, and that's an important thing to note because one's getting a lot of voltage and one isn't. Okay, so so that is basically what the pocket is. Now these pockets now will go to, a lot of times they'll go to a patch panel. In smaller venues, like our other venue over in the other room, the MC2 room, the pocket goes straight to the board. Okay, and then the amps that's on the rack on the board. Okay, this one is big enough that it'll go to what we call a patch panel. Okay, because the board we have is a 40-channel board. These pockets are 1 through 12 input lines. So there's 1 through 12 here, 1 through 12 over there, 1 through 12 over there. Okay, but then on the board it's 1 through 40. Okay, so therefore, if you got input 1 here versus input 1 there, you know where it's going in on the board. Okay, and that's where the patch panel is for. So our patch panel happens to be back here, next to the lion head. If I could open it. Okay, so this happens to be our patch panel here. Different venues will have different looking patch panel, but it does this basic same thing. Okay, so those pockets come to this panel. Then this panel reroutes it to the right input channel on the board. Now this is a digital panel, so this one's a little different than the analog ones. We have a bunch of lines coming in, one for each one of those inputs or outputs, okay, and the pockets come into here. Okay, now actually what comes out of here on this digital one is just 2 Cat5 lines, okay, because we have a digital board. But if you had an analog board, an analog system, then if you have 30 lines going into this, you'll actually have 30 physical lines coming out of it, okay, or just that snake, okay, but in the snake we'll have basically transmission of 30 physical lines. Okay, so we color code ours here, black, white, blue. Okay, the pockets are color coded black, white, blue. Okay, the blacks is the front middle one, the white is the far one where the keyboard's plugged into, and the blue is the drum kit pocket. Okay, so one over there, one black happens to be one port here. Okay, but it is actually 5 on the board, leveler 5, because 1 through 4 on the board is the wireless lapels. Okay, so that's how you see it gets a little confusing. One pocket, one patch panel, 5 on the board. Okay, and if that's not confusing enough, then you get to another pocket, which is let's say this one here, 7 and 8. Okay, 7 and 8 is 7 and 8 here is, I think, 1 and 2 on the white. I could be wrong. Okay, and then it's like, you know, it could be like 15, 16 on the board. I'm not sure. We could take a look at this. The person in charge of doing all this put together a chart. So that's what these charts are for. Okay, so black 1, input 1, black 1, channel 5. Okay, so oh, there we go. 7. So it's white 1, channel 7 here, and then on the board it's channel 11. So pocket 1, patch panel 7, channel 11. Okay? So that's how it works. So usually you shouldn't have to get into the patch panel unless you're doing some major restructuring. Okay? Well, that's the patch panel and how the sound flows from the pockets to the board. In the next video, we'll go over to the board and we'll take a look at that.